Hey, where is all your stuff? And what are you thinking leaving these divorce papers?
After the graduation ceremony, my daughter and I are graduates too.
What is the difference between a web developer and a web designer? Why?
Sudden? How can you say it's so sudden when you didn't even try to take care of our relationship? Or were you so caught up in your aft you didn't even notice it?
My name is Claire. I am a 37-year-old housewife. My husband, Nathan, and I have been for 10 years. He was part of business client S-Con, the one who managed the exchanges company in his. My husband was 5 years older than me. He was more mature. I had always liked older men, so I made some modifications in my brain. Then one day, he asked me out on a date. After that, we started to go out on. I was thinking that maybe we could to date and get married. When we officially started dating, that he had a child, 4-year-old girl named Caitlin. He had left his wife because she was an affair. I was honestly surprised, but I was glad that my husband told truth at an early stage. It actually gave me a good impression. So we officially started dating Caitlin for the first time. I thought she would be wary of meeting a woman she didn't know, but Caitlin was very friendly and talked a lot. I thought that I could get along with her. With this thought, I once again think that I could actually marry H. 1 year after we started dating, I proposed, and she said yes. After our marriage, he asked me to job and become a housewife.
Until now, I've left Caitlin with my parents, but I can't depend on them all the time, can I? Besides, you would want Caitlin to see you as her mother too, right?
That was true. No matter how good of a girl Caitlin was, leaving her with her parents every day took time for her to recognize her mother. Also, puberty will come before she becomes my daughter, and she might distance herself from. Besides, my in-laws are getting older. It would be quite a burden to take young child. I thought deeply about it and decided to follow my husband's advice and become a housewife. Since then, I've been spending more time with Caitlin.
Caitlin, what should we do today?
Let's draw.
Great. Then Ayan'll bring crayons. Thank you so much. Yes, I am an editor.
Yes, I love flowers. Yay, snack?
Caitlin was a very nice girl and helped me right away, thanks to being a housewife and spending most of her days with her son. She started me on my writing journey very early on. When she called me Mom for the first time, I almost cried. It was the first time I felt mother. The more time I spent with Caitlin, the more I fell in love with her. I realized that blood relations had to do with love. I loved Caitlin as if she were my own child and gave her my full affection. Time passed so quickly, and now Caitlin is 14 years old this year. She was 4 years old when we met, so been 10 years already. Caitlin is already in 8th grade. I'm sure she will grow up in a blink of an eye. She will soon become a high school student, then perhaps a college student, and then she'll start working and get married. If you think about it, she's only experienced all of this in less than 10 years. So I will have to cherish the time I spend with my daughter every day. Caitlin is currently preparing for her school entrance exams, so she often crams schoolwork after her extracurricular activities. She usually comes home at 8 p.m. or so. I think it's really great that she has a hard time.
Homer, is Dad home yet?
He's going to be working late today. So let's eat first.
Okay.
She seems a little down.
Caitlin, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong with this?
It's okay. It's nothing. Oh, I'm so hungry. What's for dinner tonight?
It's chicken pot pie.
Yes, my favorite.
Caitlin was trying to cover up her nervousness with a smile. I've been by her side for 10 years of know when something is wrong. Did something happen to her at school? You're worried, but I don't want to force her to talk. But then, about a month later, something unexpected happened. I had to go to my parents' house, so I came home around 7:00 p.m. When I got home, I heard some shouting. My husband and Caitlin were arguing. I didn't understand what was going rush to stop the two of them.
Hey, what's wrong with you two?
I don't care about Dad anymore.
What an attitude you have towards your father.
Caitlin went straight to her room.
Caitlin, I'm so glad you found my blog.
I immediately questioned my husband.
What the hell is going on? You've never raised your voice like before. And Caitlin never talked back like that either.
It's nothing.
He replies, awkwardly averting his.
It didn't look like anything, though. I'm your wife and her mother. You have to tell me what happened. If this is about Caitlin's career, then we all should talk.
I said it's nothing. Stop trying to pry into it.
He then started to walk away.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm going outside.
Hey, wait.
My husband left the house without one to my words. I had no choice but to quickly cook and call Caitlin from her room. At first, she said she didn't want it.
But when I told her Dad had gone out, so it's just the two of us, she came downstairs to my room. What happened?
I asked her as we ate, but she remained silent and didn't answer.
You don't want to talk to Mom about it?
Was a little sad. I thought that my daughter and I had bonded in our own way. I wondered why she had such a fight with her father. I was curious, but neither my husband Caitlin wanted to talk about it. Ever since then, Caitlin hardly speaks to her father or me anymore. I understand her distancing herself father because of their fight, but it makes me sad to see her distancing herself from me as well. I thought this wasn't a good thing for our parent-child relationship. So after deciding to talk to my husband about it,
About Caitlin, I don't think it's a good idea to keep things like this.
then my husband said something outrageous.
I don't give a shit about Caitlin or her family.
I couldn't believe it.
What are you saying? She's your daughter.
It's her fault. It was her fault then, and it's her fault now. She obviously doesn't want anything with me.
That's something you're going to have to deal with.
Why should I care about my daughter?
Nathan.
I was out of words. It's no wonder they fought, their and daughter. Even family have their disputes. Even so, it's part of keeping up with each other. And yet, my husband, with all his own stubbornness, did not try to talk to daughter.
If you keep on being like that, Kat wouldn't want to talk to you. Yes, it's your fault that you won. Come on, tell me what's going on. Why should I be the only one left alone?
I started to cry.
Shut up. This is between Caitlin and I.
My husband left the house again. Why won't anybody tell me about what happened? I was alone, sitting on the living room floor crying. Then I heard the door slam open.
I'm sorry. I won't be able to make you dinner right now.
I wiped my tears and got up to head kitchen.
Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were in so much pain.
She choked up as she began to speak.
That day, I saw him. I happened to be riding my bike to food restaurant after school with We were sitting at a table with a view of the sidewalk through the glass, and then I saw Dad. I saw him walking arm in arm with, didn't know. So when I got home that day, I asked what was going on. And that's how we got into a fight.
That was beyond my imagination.
I'm sorry about not talking to you. I didn't know what to do.
I hugged her tightly.
I'm sorry you had to suffer on your... It must have been hard for you to do it all by yourself.
My daughter cried aloud when I said, I couldn't stop crying either, so Six sobbed for a while. After we calmed down, we talked.
I don't think I can stay married to my husband anymore, but I want to spend time with you. What about you, Caitlin?
I want to live with you. I don't want to live with a kind of destroys his family to go to another.
I was happy that she chose me, and I made up my mind that I would love her for the rest of my life.
Then I'll have to find a job and place to move in first.
I immediately took action. I applied for a well-paying office job. Tommy's surprise, I got the job first, although there was a blank in my resume work history. And qualifications were not directly related to the job, and I started working right away. My husband had been talking less and less since our fight. He started leaving early in the morning, coming home late at night. So he doesn't even know I'm working. My daughter and I became closer that we would go to viewings for possible places to live on the weekends. We would have lunch and go shopping way home. We enjoyed our mother-daughter dates, and then we found a place to move in. My daughter's high school entrance was successful, and I said goodbye to my husband. Just as I was thinking that, my husband started talking to me with an apologetic look.
I'm sorry, it's about Caitlin's birthday. I can't go because I have to go on trip.
See, if it's for work, you can talk about it.
Sorry, there are no results found.
The way he said it showed he, though bad at all. This made me slightly angry, but at time, I felt that I didn't really care my husband anymore. Besides, I had already used a detective agency and obtained a lot of photographs of the affair. In fact, I already know that my husband is not going on a business trip, but a vacation. He thought he could hide it from me. I tried to look at his phone while taking a bath. I found that it was password protected, so I immediately opened it. From the messages he sent me, I learned that my husband was going on a business trip on our daughter's graduation day. For my daughter and me, my husband was no longer a family member, but rather a housemate, so neither of us cared about his presence. Then, on graduation day, we packed, moved out. My husband was away for a couple of, I'll find the divorce paper table the day after tomorrow. A few days later, sure enough, I got a call from my husband.
And what are you thinking, leaving these divorce papers?
Isn't it clear what it means? I can't stay married to you any longer. Want a divorce.
I don't see any of Caitlin's stuff, but
She says she can't live with you anymore. After the graduation ceremony, my daughter and I will be graduating from a CIS.
what is the difference between a web developer and a web designer? Why do you want to join our team?
How can you say it's so sudden when you didn't even try to take care of our relationship? Or were you so caught up in your aft you didn't even notice it? The fight that day was because Katrina questioned you about the affair and fought back.
What? That's because the man Caitlin saw wasn't me, but she was so...
Unfortunately, I have evidence of taken by detectives. You can't get away with that, can you? Well, I bet you had a fabulous dream about your trip with your daughter's graduation. So it's time to get back to reality. Of course, I'll be asking for child support. I'll even send a content certified copy of your workplace. I can't have that happen. I don't know your affair partner's name, so the only way is to send it to your workplace. It's your fault for having an unprofessional colleague.
Oh, no, what happened? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
When my husband, feeling the odds were against him, started pleading, my dad took the phone from me.
We will never forgive you. You betrayed Mom and me. You went to have an affair with of destroying our family, didn't you? Then take responsibility and give in. Life is not so easy that you can just take the good parts of it.
With that, my daughter hung up. The phone rang shortly thereafter, but I ignored it and blocked the number. 14-year-old to say something like that. Kids grew up before you know it. I then, through my lawyer, demanded a divorce. Of course, I demanded alimony and child support. My husband was reluctant to the last, but he said he didn't want to go till the divorce was finalized. He paid alimony and child support in full. I also demanded alimony from his former partner and got them to pay that to me. Through the letter I sent to my now ex-husband and his affair. Partner's workplace, their co-workers found out about their affair. He took a pay cut and moved to a regional office. In addition to having to pay alimony, he had a difficult time finding work. Eventually, he voluntarily resigned from his job. Well, he and his partner got what they deserved. Meanwhile, I'm living comfortably, daughter, in our new apartment. It's close to her high school, so brings her friends over and enjoys with them. Despite not being blood related, our mother-daughter bond is deep. We will continue to support each other, live happily.